Welcome to Chokeholds Chill, where the arm bars are tight and the conversations are deep.
We're Jen and Mal, two women navigating life, Matt Byrne, and the wild world of jiu-jitsu, one episode at a time.
From white belts to black, trauma to triumph, we bring you the real stories from the people who roll through it all.
So tighten your belt, take a breath, and let's get into it.
So I want to start off with just saying that. So last night I listened to a podcast.
True confession.
Where is this going?
Yeah. Last night I listened to a podcast that you did in 2015.
Oh.
I know, like deep dive. I just like typed your name into Spotify, and that was the first thing that came up. It was on
Really?
Barbell Shrugged.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
You'd gotten the UFC at 2014, so it was in 2015. And I was having such a fun time listening to that.
She updates the chat at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, no, I was listening to this at like 1 a.m.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I was doodling. I stay up late on Wednesdays because I don't work on Thursdays. So, you know, it's my party time.
You know what? Yeah, that's kind of how my day is on Tuesday. My night on Tuesdays, like I work late, like I'm at the gym late, but then I don't. It's like my only day of the week that I have. Like I don't have anything until noon class, so I'm just like I like to live it up, you know.
Hell yeah!
Wait, what does live it up look like these days for you?
I mean, it's not exciting. It means like I get to fall asleep watching a movie and like pretend like I'm gonna stay up late.
Okay, awesome. So we're roughly the same age then. I can tell by that.
See, like my version is like listening to podcasts, folding my laundry, cleaning the kitchen while my husband sleeps. Like, you know, so pretty boring.
Get some you time.
Fun. So, for those of you who have no idea what the hell's going on right now, this is Chokeholds and Chill, and we are chatting with our new best friend, Patrick Durkin Cummins. What's up, yo?
It's me.
Welcome to the party.
Do you like really inappropriate and like dumb jokes?
I love them.
Okay, so I was telling I was telling my husband last night that like who we were interviewing. I was like, "Oh, we're interviewing Patrick Cummins," and he was like, "Oh, does he have a cider company?" And
I already know where he's going.
Yeah, but like I did not. So I was like, "What?"
Tell the friends.
I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was just like so bamboozled. And he's like, "Come on, Mallory. I know you can do it."
Yeah, you got this.
And then I was like, "Patrick Cummins cider." Oh, Patrick Cummins cider. And
wait, is this your first time hearing this genius joke?
You know, I've never heard it. I've never heard it like made towards me. You know? but I've heard. You know, I forget what the actual like what the joke comes from. It's like
it's a boys joke.
Cummins, it's not Cummins cider, but you know, it's like it's something very similar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
it's great.
So anyways,
now it's about you. So.
Yeah. So my husband thinks that you own a cider company, and we'll talk about that more later.
I might have to add that. Yeah, I might have to add that.
Add it into your bio. Cider company owner.
Okay. I owe you
company.
Like 2% ownership.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big percentage if you're looking worldwide.
Well, a percent for each of you. I'm very generous.
Oh my god. Okay. Patrick, tell us your life story. No, just kidding.
No, we do.
You know what? Along those lines, when I was first starting to fight, and when I was first like giving consideration to fighting, I was, you know, I'm like, I always thought that a nickname was so stupid. You know, I was like, you know, what am I gonna be like? The Punisher, you know, or like something dumb like that. I just feel like they're always so dumb. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. But I was really close to to being Patrick in your face Cummins.
No.
'Cause-
Who stopped you?
I just feel like I stopped myself. And I was like, I don't think I want to be that guy. Like that, you know.
You
Yeah.
could have been so famous for something else.
Patrick Cummins in
In
your
your
face.
Yeah, my career after fighting could have been very different.
So the kids program, how's that going? No.
yeah.
Oh gosh. This is
Okay, we need to reel
funny.
it in. This is
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about life before the UFC, because you were a walk-on wrestler at Penn State.
Yeah.
And
Right.
plot twist, a fine arts major.
Yes. This, you know what? It's funny because that was the hot topic of like like when I started to like become a decent wrestler in college, that was like the hot topic. Everybody's like, huh? This guy's a fine art major, like what? And they just thought it was so. I'm like, to me, it's perfectly normal. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, this makes perfect sense to me. You know, I had the balance. I had the studio time, and I could, you know, kind of like zen out and do my thing. And I would get frustrated in there, and then I'd fix it by going to work out. And you know, vice versa. I get frustrated in the wrestling room, and then I go make some artwork, throw some pots, you know, just have the best time and
That's so
forget all
cool.
about it. And then it was like it really was a great balance for me. And I tried to keep that balance as much as I could throughout like my competitive years. But it changed, you know, it changed. The medium changed over the years, and you know, I got into woodworking. I started doing metal stuff. But you know, I
Nice.
just kind of went all over the place. But I always needed like a creative outlet, and it seemed to really help me out.
So, what was your preferred medium back in those days? You mentioned pot.
Yeah, so I have a studio fine art degree in ceramics.
Oh, that's so
my
cool.
specialty is ceramics. Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, so this was all at Penn State.
Penn State. No, we're not.
But you were a walk-on, right, at Penn State?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you tell me about that? Because that's no easy feat, like walking onto a D1, like highly competitive college. Like that's fucking sick. So
It was overwhelming for
I
sure.
I
bet.
imagine.
Yeah, so what was
Yeah.
the road that led you there? Like when did you start wrestling?
I wrestled as a kid, like for a year, you know, when I was like, I don't even remember doing it.
Okay.
You know, because like, I don't know, my parents somehow, I think they had friends that were into wrestling, and they were like, oh, you know, you should get the boys into this. They're probably always beating each other up, and which was true. And I have two brothers, so we were always just like wrestling around, beating each other up. And, you know, it seemed like the right outlet. And I think my parents took us to a tournament for the very first time, and they just saw all the crazy wrestling parents, and were like, we're done with this, you know? Like we can't, like this seems crazy. And if you don't know, I mean, in a big wrestling state like Pennsylvania, it's crazy. The
Yeah.
parents are nuts. There's like notorious wrestling dads, you know.
Yeah.
But
They
yeah,
get wild too. They'll throw down in
they
the
get
stands over their
crazy. Like,
kids.
oh yeah, and like in college, we would host, you know, kid tournaments like through the club. It would be, you know, a way for us to raise money. So like all the wrestlers would kind of help out at the tournament, and like these dads would be like getting in our face, and I'm like, dude, like what is wrong? Like really, this is this is the path you're gonna take. Like whatever call I make, you should probably just be good with. You know, they were crazy.
That is crazy.
So are you
Yeah.
originally from East Coast, like Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I grew up in Lancaster County, which is the home of the Amish. So it's
sick.
kind of funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a little bit of
Yes.
wrestling as a kid, but not too much. So
Not too
where?
much, yeah. And then I think I got back into it. I was very fortunate. My older brother was kind of like paved the way for me type guy.
Okay.
And he was not afraid of anything. my dad was the principal of my high school.
Mm.
So as we were like growing up, he would get picked on, they'd be like, "Oh, what's up, principal's son?" and kind of like push him.
Uh-huh.
And that did not last long because he was just such a little badass. He was like beating up high schoolers all the time, and like they're like, finally the word got out, like, okay, don't mess with Ryan. And then it like passed down to me. So I never had any issues with anybody in
Yeah.
high school. It was great.
Nice.
But he got cut from the basketball team because he's just like, basketball is not his sport.
Right.
And it wasn't mine either, but I could do it. I could do it a little better than he. I don't think he would object to me saying that I could play basketball a little better than him. But he got cut from the basketball team, and he was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna wrestle." And the very next year, I didn't even try to play basketball. I was like, man, I saw how much fun he had wrestling, and I was like, I want to do that. That looks way better,
Yeah.
So, but starting in 8th grade is so late for to go on and wrestle in college,
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
especially like a D1 school. So
Yeah.
luckily my older brother, paving the way for me, he placed like 4th at states, did a great job. And Pennsylvania is a really tough state.
Yeah.
And that being that we were always like 3-sport athletes growing up, we didn't like specialize in one. And I think the coaches were like, "Oh, we see potential in this kid, so we'll bring him on." So he got brought on, and I think he was a hardworking guy, and they really liked the way that he was, and they were like, "Well, I'm sure the younger brother's going to be good." And I was recruited a little bit by them, but I ended up getting injured my senior year of high school, and
Oh.
and kind of like, I actually, I mean, I did well in like the early season, and then I couldn't finish the year, and it
Mhm.
kind of hurt my my prospects.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, so I just kind of got bumped to the back burner, and by the time Penn State was finished, all the recruiting, I think we had like the 6th or 7th recruiting class in the country, and they're like,
Jeez.
"We have a spot for you." And it was like literally the last spot, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it," without really thinking. I was just like, "Yeah, of course, like that sounds great. Like I'd love to go, be with my brother and whatever." But man, I stepped into that program,
Fuck.
and like day one, looking around me at like all the freshmen, and I'm like, these are the guys that I would look at states that would be like strutting around in their white singlet with like a fake tan, and you know what I mean, just like I would just be like, damn, really? Like this is where I'm with these guys? Like I have no business being here.
What year is this?
This is 2000.
Okay.
So a long time ago.
That is wild. So
Yeah.
so you got like, you're an NCAA Division I All-American. So
2 times.
2 times. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
So
no
I
big
mean, I
deal.
went from being all like not very good to, kind of making up my mind and saying, okay, I'm gonna put in a little effort. I'm gonna forget, I'm not gonna let this, my humble beginnings stop me from, and that was a big part of it, kind
Yeah.
of getting over that mental hurdle of like, okay, I gotta allow myself to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And and once I made up my mind, and it just seemed like physically things clicked for me, mentally things clicked for me. And it was just kind of like the right timing for everything. I also was fortunate because a couple guys got hurt in my weight class that were, on the roster ahead of me, I'm sure.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? So I got the
Yeah.
opportunity to get some experience before I like made that decision to really turn it on and make something of this.
Okay.
So I
So,
was very fortunate that way, but I also worked very, very hard.
well, I was gonna say for people who don't know, I don't know, as much obviously about wrestling as you do, but for people who don't know wrestling, Penn State is I would argue the best in the country. Major big fucking deal. And not only to go in and hold your own and compete with these guys, make a mental shift to become the champion. How did you do that? It's not just simple as, I mean, I would imagine not like, okay, well, today I'm going to try.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was a little bit. It was a lot of
Okay.
that, It was a
Yeah.
lot of that. I just thought to myself, like I was just very honest, and I was like, I'm going through the motions here, and
Mhm.
there's no way. I don't have quit in me, and there was, I was just like, I can sit here and just kind of hang on and do this and waste my time for no reason, because I refuse to quit, and I started something, I'm not going to quit it. And then I was like, if I just, I remember thinking to myself, I just put in like 10% more
Mhm.
and actually really give a shit. I think I could probably, it'd be cool to see where I could take it,
Yeah.
and and like throughout that time, it was probably like 3 years of like really a hard push. And throughout that time, like the goal, everyone's like, yeah, everyone says, oh yeah, I want to be a national champ. I want to be a national champ. And like, that's the goal that you're supposed to adopt when you get to college, It's like you
Right.
want to be the best. Everybody, just like in high school, you want to be a state champ. And it just like as I kept progressing, and I kept, of course I gave 10%, and as kind of an experiment, but it went way beyond 10%,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
after that. And like as I kept taking steps and moving forward, it was like, wow, this, like, yeah, I want to be a national champ. Like, I really think I
Mhm.
can do it. And I mean, I don't know, my high school or my college seasons were just, I mean, it was pretty miraculous, to get to where I was. I think, like, now looking
Yeah.
back on it, I can kind of say, wow, like,
Yeah.
that is worth patting myself on the back.
It's a big fucking
My
deal.
Yeah, my very first, I redshirted my freshman year. So that very
Mm.
first year was kind of, we went to a lot of unattached, we wrestled unattached. So it was, the school couldn't pay for you. You'd have to pay your own way to wrestle in some open tournaments and just get your experience.
Right.
And I went to Ohio. They had an open tournament at Ohio State, and I wrestled. I was wrestling well, and I ended up getting third place, and I
Oh.
lost, which was for me was really good.
Also
I mean,
there.
like, I couldn't wait to get home and like tell my coach I got third, and just
Yeah.
because I was getting my ass kicked all the time. And he's like, so I can't, I came back and I was like, coach, I got third. And he just looked at me. This was just the kind of guy he was. He's like, well, who'd you lose to? It was just like, that was it. That was like way more important than it. Like, oh, third. We're not trying to get third.
Right.
So I said to him, I said, I lost to this guy named Tommy Rollins or I didn't know how to pronounce his name. And he looked at me like with like a death stare, kind of, and like everything got super serious. Like, I feel like, it was like one of those moments in life where like everything gets quiet, and he looked at me dead serious and said, if you want to be a national champ, that's who you have to beat. And I you know I looked back at that match, and I remember, I don't know how much you guys like deal with wrestling, but when I shot in on him, like I
Mhm.
shot a double leg or something
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that. He, instead of sprawling, he just like thrust his hips into my face
Oh.
and knocked me flat on my ass.
Whoa.
And you know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck is
Who
going
does
on here?
that?
Like, I never felt anything like that before. I'm
Right.
like a big, strong kid, but man, he was just like bucking me up. But this, like, me being stubborn, I just refused to quit. And the I mean, it was getting close in wrestling. Like a tech fall is if you beat someone by 15 points,
Okay.
and they put an end to the match, like mercy rule. Beating someone by 15 points is like a tech fall, and they just say, "Listen, you suck."
Yeah.
Like
This may not be for
we're
you.
ending this match. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's over. So, like I'm like refusing to give up, just purely being stubborn, and I think I reversed him at the very end and was like really just like staying scrappy.
Yeah.
But I lost by 14 points. Like it was a beat down,
Yeah.
So I come to realize like a little while later, I was like, how does my coach know who this guy is? And I was so out of the wrestling world, like not being a full-time wrestler in high school and, playing a bunch of other sports. I didn't do any tournaments outside of just the school stuff.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know anything about this. And it come to find out he is the number one recruit in the country for every weight class. Every weight class, like this is the guy.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
No big deal.
like, I just felt like such a dummy. But there's something nice in like, being blissfully stupid and not, like
no
I just
fear.
went out there like it was like I was like, yeah, this guy's not that big. I'll probably be, and I was a smaller heavyweight, and I was like, oh, I should be all right. And then I'm just like, I'm sitting on my ass, like, what just happened?
Where did those points come from?
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
So over the course of my career, he went to Ohio State, I went to Penn State, so we were both in the Big Ten conference.
Yeah.
And as the years progressed, we wrestled each other a ton of times, and every single time it would be like that 14 points would go to 12, and then it would go to 8, and then and until I was a junior, and we were wrestling Ohio State at home, and I beat him, and it was
Damn.
like
Hell yeah.
and like what I mean, like that
home.
that like that like that thinking of what my coach said, I'm like, holy shit, I'm doing it,
Oh
like
my God.
I'm gonna be a national champ, like this is my course,
This is such a great story.
I think so. But I mean, and we battled. We would just battle, and I ended up beating him in the dual meet as a senior, and like so. Well, actually, rewind. So I finished 4th as a junior, and he ended up like getting hurt, and we didn't see each other in the tournament, but he ended up getting hurt, and I think he had to kind of like forfeit out and to 6th or something. So I go into my senior year, I'm ranked number 1 in the country. This is like the most foreign thing to me in the world, and I like it's crazy. But I'm living it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, this is what I've wanted. But it was different. It was an adjustment because I'm used to being the underdog guy.
Right.
And now I have to own that number 1 spot, and everyone looks at you like
everyone knows your name.
Yeah. So it was very different. And then, and we kind of went back and forth. Like he would beat me once, I beat him once, and I was going into Big Tens, ranked number 1 still, and we met in the finals. I'm losing by 2 points. Like end of the match, I take him down and tie it up. There's 30 seconds left maybe, and without even thinking about it. My hardcore coach, he was always like beating into us, like getting the mental edge, and like if you can beat somebody, you need to beat them as badly as you possibly can, because the next time you see them, they're gonna quit before the match even starts.
Yeah.
And just like get that mental edge on everybody. So I'm thinking, this is it, like Big Tens, and then in 2 weeks there's NCAAs, and like this is my time to like put this together and I gotta dominate him when it really counts. So I was like, without even thinking about it, I take him down, I tie it up, and I just cut him right away. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking take this guy down at the, with 30 seconds to go, and then he's gonna know who his daddy is, And I fucking don't get the takedown.
No.
Yeah, it
Oh
was just
no.
and I'm like, oh, I'm such a fucking meathead. Like, why didn't I just like hang on and then take it to overtime? And like, it was strategically, it was a bad move, but I mean, if it would have happened, I feel like that would have been it,
Yeah, that would have been a major highlight.
Yeah, like it would have been so sick.
Yeah. So good on you for trying. You can't knock yourself for that.
Yeah, like, you know what? Sometimes you gotta bet on yourself.
Yes.
And I've done it many, many times in my life, and it pays off in some way. 2 weeks later, NCAA's, I'm ranked 2, but so we're on either end of the bracket. I weigh in. We weigh in on Thursday. Wrestle Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's a big tournament.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah. So at like 3 a.m., I get up in the middle of, it's the middle of the night. I get up and I'm like, it's kind of, like in Dumb and Dumber when he drinks like the laxative. And it's like that
Yes.
like rumble in your stomach. You're like,
no,
like something's going on here right now.
Oh,
And
damn it.
I'm, like I run to the bathroom and I'm just like blasting from both. Like I'm like just shitting as crazy as I possibly can. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I feel that another quease and I'm starting barfing. I like grab the nearest trash can and start barfing the shit. I'm just like, this cannot be happening right now.
Oh my
like,
God.
My stomach hurts for you right now.
My heart hurts for you.
It was so crazy. And I guess the backstory is like when I entered college, I was probably like 200 pounds. And by this time, 5 years later, I had made myself into a heavyweight, and I was doing the most uncomfortable thing. I was eating like a psycho and gaining as much weight as I could. And I was 265 and
holy shit,
like a beefcake, but I wasn't just eating crap, and I was like very health conscious and but
that's a lot of work.
I was, and so the first thing I thought in my head is, oh no, I'm losing weight,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be too light, because the weight class is 285. Like there's still dudes bigger than me,
right,
in there. And I was getting used to being like a normal size heavyweight and not have to deal with, being this tiny guy that's kind of dancing around these big monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So this keeps up. I'm all throughout the morning, all through, I go to weigh-ins and I just weigh in my sweatsuit and sneakers so my weight looks good, so
heavy as possible on the scale.
I lost too much weight. Yeah, exactly. And I can't shake this thing. And I'm eating Imodium like it's going out of business.
Oh my
nothing
God.
Nothing is working. And I can't hold anything down. I can't eat.
Oh.
And so I'm like, and it wasn't like a food poisoning thing. It was like a virus.
Oh no.
And it ended up lasting a week.
Oh.
So I'm like not eating anything.
Oh my God.
I would like, and I'm like, there's no way I'm just gonna not compete. Like that's just not in the cards. But at the same time, like I can't shit my singlet in front of like this crowd. There's no way that can
Somebody's
happen.
like, put a diaper on, let's go.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
No.
I basically get it all out of me, and but I'm not I can't eat, and if I eat, I'm barfing. So it was just like, it was crazy.
Wow.
So I started warming up for my first match, barfing, and I'm like, okay, no warming up. Like I'm just gonna have to like, like wear a couple pairs of sweats and just like keep like, I was just like rubbing myself to keep like try to be warm and like, but like the whole first period, I'd just be taking that time to like. Luckily, the adrenaline would keep me from barfing or shitting.
Oh my
And
God.
I would just, but like, and then I would slowly get warm, and then I was able to like, I mean, I was not at full capacity by any
No.
means, but I was eking out these matches against guys that I should have really beat up, but I'm in the semis, and I'm like having a tight match with a guy that, we wrestled a ton. I think he was from University of Pennsylvania. Tough kid,
Mm-hmm.
Another like state champ out of Pennsylvania that I felt like at a time in my life didn't have any I shouldn't be beating this guy.
Right.
But made myself believe that I could. And so here I am, like down to the wire with this guy. He gets in on a shot and I somehow like knee tap him and knock him over and end up on top, and I'm just like, holy shit. I'm in the like I'm in the finals.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually doing this. And I at that point I just felt like, okay, this is meant to be. Like I'm meant to go through this like hardship, and but I'm gonna win. Like I feel like I'm gonna win. I have to, like this is my story. This is the way it's gonna happen. And get into the finals, which is like late Saturday night. So I've had almost 3 full days of like trying to get this sickness out of me. It's not going anywhere. And I wish I would have like thought a little more about strategy, but honestly I don't think it would have helped at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of went into it thinking, all right, I'm gonna go out there and just go as hard as I can and try to get a takedown off the bat, and then I'm gonna try to sit on this lead. And and like I was like, I don't know what else to do. And so
I wouldn't know what else to do either at that point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe looking back on it, I probably should have just stalled my ass off and tried to like eke it out at the end. But honestly, I don't think I don't think it would have mattered. Like he was at his best. Like like when you're trained properly and you're like, he's won NCAAs before. He knows what it's like to be in that situation, and like, he's peaked perfectly for that moment. And he was on, and I was horribly off. And I'm like, so I'm like down. I think I'm down 2 takedowns, and then getting the scramble, tear my MCL.
Oh shit.
Like pretty badly, and I'm just like, what? I'm just thinking like, how can this get any worse?
Yeah. Like how much longer do we have?
Yeah. There's such a microscope on the finals too, and it's like, this is your time to shine. And it was just such a sad showing, and I just was like, fuck. Like it hurt. And it was, it was like the culmination of like 5 years of like busting my ass, gaining weight, doing becoming a competitive wrestler where I really didn't belong almost. And man, it was tough. That really I think it messed me up a little bit. Like I just had my sights set on this goal, and I felt like it was right there. And I think I would have been, I mean, on one hand, it would have been great to have that win, but I think I would have probably never competed again. I would have been like, I did it.
Yeah.
Like
The
what
book
else
is
do I have to
closed.
prove? Yeah, like I'm good. And I could have like moved on and had a career in art, which is what I was really, really wanted to do. And man, it just it just like put a chip on my shoulder. And I was, and then I ended up competing still, like just kind of like out of being stubborn. I was just like,
Right.
I guess I'm going to keep wrestling, and try to make the Olympics in 2008, and just like, and I was on the national team a couple times, which is the top 3 in the nation. And then, but to compete at the World Championships or in the Olympics, you got to be the number 1 guy.
Yes.
And I just could never quite get there. And it was so damn frustrating. And it was the time, it was kind of like that time when, I'm close to 2008. 2008's approaching. And, everybody's like, anytime I'd see anybody that I wouldn't talk to for a while, but they'd be like, hey man, how's training for the Olympics? And, like everybody knew that this is what I was doing. And just like, I just lost it. My heart was not in it anymore. And they changed the rules. The international rules changed a lot. And, I don't know if you remember, there was a time when they were kind of threatening to take wrestling out of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that directly resulted from, that was a result of the governing body of international wrestling was so corrupt. And it was like, guys were getting taken payoffs to lose matches and, getting paid to, it was a weird thing. And the governing body was super corrupt too, and they were taking bribes. And
oh my god,
they needed to get that group of people that were deciding like what the rules were. So they changed the rules to really favor, that really favor like the explosive, like technical guys.
Yes.
They didn't have a gas tank, and like as Americans, like we were just like, we weren't quite as good technically as the foreigners, but like, we could eke some matches out because we were tough.
Right.
And so they just like the rules got all messed up. It was, and I'm wrestling heavyweight. I'm undersized still, and they make this rule where a push out, like you get pushed out of bounds like a sumo wrestling match,
Sure.
is worth the same amount as getting taken down.
What?
And I was just like,
stupid.
Oh my god.
So I'm like getting pushed around by these big dudes, and they're just like, all I gotta do is just push this little guy out of the circle. Like that's all.
That's some shit.
That's the
It was
stupidest, boring thing to watch.
shitty. Yeah, it exactly, and that's why like it became like not a spectator sport. Like no one understood it. They decided to do the scoring by like sets, kind of like tennis. So it would be like if you win 2 out of 3 sets, you win. You win the match. So matches were ending in 4 minutes, and it was like, so it was really favoring the guys that were, that weren't like the in shape guys. It favored the technical guys, but it also in my case favored the giant guys, because I would just get pushed out of bounds twice.
Yeah.
And I'd lose the match.
Jeez.
So I just like, I don't know. I feel like, it was like the time was coming, the trials were coming. I was not, like, I was on the national team, I think the year before, but I was just, like, I didn't have confidence in it. I didn't feel like I was doing something that I loved anymore.
Right.
And
well, it's now a different sport.
Yeah, and it was such a different sport, and it was just sad, And I just felt kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like so much was happening at that time. And I ran into an old buddy of mine that was kind of kicking around at Penn State. Who wasn't necessarily the best influence on me. And man, it was a recipe for me to get in trouble.
Yeah, tell us that story. That's got to be
Yeah. So
yeah. Because what year were you like done with the national team stuff?
Well, I was still wrestling at
Okay.
this time. So this
okay.
is what, yeah, like this, but I was just kind of like, I'm over this. I guess I didn't have the guts to be like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But it was like it was 2008, and like the trials were coming up, and I don't know, I just had like, I just wasn't there anymore. But so, I just kind of like get involved, and we're just kind of sneaking around. Like, I'm looking for an adrenaline rush somewhere, and like we sneak around like the frat houses at Penn State, and it starts off like really innocently, like it's really like, your heart's pounding, you're sneaking into this house, and like all the doors are open, and it's not like you're like we were breaking in it, so it kind of felt like we weren't really doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And we'd move. It was back in the day where you have, it was like a giant TV was in the living room, like these huge. Like it wasn't it wasn't hanging on the wall. That didn't exist.
Yeah. Two people
So
need
like,
to carry it.
yeah. So that's what we would do. We would carry it out and like put it on their front lawn or something. Just kind of fuck with them a little bit. And because there was always like this like rivalry between, like guys on the wrestling team would get in fights with guys from frats, and like there was just bad blood there. And we were just like, this
Fuck
is
these
innocent
guys.
fun, yeah. And we're like, these guys are douchebags, like, whatever. So it turns, and so of course it escalates and turns into like us taking things, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it was like we were taking like trophies. It wasn't like we were like fencing stolen goods,
Right.
It was just like all this crap was like in our basement, and I was just like, I don't know why we have this, but this has become like my new hobby. Like I love doing this.
Like Dexter and his blood slides.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right. There's nothing wrong with that.
I swear.
I mean, I'm comparing you to a serial killer, so sorry. Not that dramatic.
No,
there are levels to this game.
Yeah.
So you have a collection of stolen goods.
Yeah, exactly. And we just get to, you do anything stupid for long enough, you're gonna get yourself in trouble. And that day came, and it was bad news. It was like, in this college town where, we both excelled.
Yeah.
And, we're in the papers for doing good things. And, I think my story especially, I was kind of like the golden boy, the guy that like everybody was like, man, this is such a solid, good kid. He brought himself up from nothing, and, like did such a great job here. And then it was like, oh, he's actually a monster, and we, like he's actually a bad person, and we had it wrong. He had us fooled, and it just, it just crushed me. I was like, I mean, obviously I was scared to death, because I was like, I've never been arrested before, like I was, and I was scared, but like,
of course,
man, the shame from it, like just, I felt so ashamed from all that stuff. It just felt awful. And I felt like I couldn't show my face anywhere.
Yeah.
And it was tough. That was a really tough time. And like, I'll spare the details, but the district attorney that was handling our case was kind of like cool with like, hey, these are actually good guys. Let's kind of like put a little time in between the news and when the verdict comes through, like, let's kind of get this swept under the rug and try to, give these guys a chance at life. And
that's cool.
He was cool. Yeah, he was super cool.
Yeah.
Turns out I don't know what his issue was, but he was forced to take a leave of absence from his position. I'm assuming it was, he's drinking on the job or doing inappropriate things, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff never gets surfaced. But
yeah.
So he, our case gets put on hold, and we're like, oh no, like, now what's gonna happen? None of the stuff that we did was put in writing. It was just kind of like, listen, this is what we have to do. He's gonna do what he can do, and hopefully like get us kind of like a slap on the wrist and be done.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of put everything on hold. We just keep applying for like, hey, we need to, like extend. And it goes on about a year. This
Oh
guy's still
man.
not back. And
Ugh.
I mean, I'm in this like purgatory place
Yeah.
where it's like
You
I
can't
don't
do
know what
anything.
is gonna happen. Yeah, I'm like, and you know, I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life either.
Yeah.
I move back home and I get a job, like a job at a concrete company. I'm going to school at night to try to show that I'm like, hey, I'm trying to better myself and like, don't
Yeah.
put me in jail. I'm a good guy, which, was silly because they don't look at that stuff. They don't care.
Mhm.
And, then it's like the aftermath of kind of 2008, like when the market fell
Oh yeah.
and I'm laid off. I'm on unemployment, living in my parents' house, and like feeling like the biggest piece of shit that there ever was, and then also like I don't know what is going to happen to my life. I'm scared to death that I'm going to be digging ditches the rest of my life, as or go to jail and be a felon and not
Right.
and just like fuck, that's it. That was the
Mhm.
scariest thing I was ever looking at. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was tough, and
Well, they're
so
holding
I
your future
fought.
in their hands.
Yeah, and it like I fought as like I was like, okay, what do we need to do? How do we figure this out? Like the case went on for 3 years.
Wow.
The guy, the whole department denied ever kind of like having a deal with us.
Ugh.
And it was just, I mean, it ended up just being kind of like, well, they just built a new prison, it costs a lot of money, we need to put people in it.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah. So we, luckily, I mean, not, I don't know. I don't know if it was lucky, but we got, like I get sentenced to 1 to 2 years in county jail,
Oh.
and they give me work release, which means I can have work a normal job and sleep in jail.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was it was just a crazy time because
Mhm.
I'm working a construction job, and I'm climbing up on roofs, doing stuff like taking crazy risks. I just don't care about my life. I'm
Right.
just like, it'd be awesome if I fell off this roof onto this
Ugh.
chain link fence like
Mhm.
3 floors down. Like
Somebody
it
just
was
pushed
such
me.
yeah, like it was such a hard time, and
Yeah.
it was brutal, 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 and um, ended up, I worked time off my sentence. Like I think I would earn like a quarter of a day off my sentence with every day I would work outside.
Mhm.
So I ended up doing 8 months.
Okay.
But before I ever went to jail, I got approached by some of my, some guys I used to wrestle with, and they're like, "Hey man, we're I'm preparing for this fight. I have a big fight in Japan.
Wow.
Um, I live out in California. I don't know, like I don't really have many good wrestling training partners. Can you come out and like help me?"
Oh
And
wow.
I'm like, I'm laid off at my job. And like
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go to jail. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm just like, yeah, I'd love to come to California. I never, like I've never
Go
been to
for
Southern
it.
California before. Like, let me get a taste of the good life before I get locked up. So, I ended up going out there and training, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was being recruited. I was
Oh
like,
wow.
I was like the perfect candidate. It's kind of like this guy's got nothing to lose. He has a great background in wrestling. Let's see if he can fight. And
Mhm.
they'd be like, hey, we're not gonna do any Muay Thai, or not. We're not gonna wrestle today. You want to try some Muay Thai? Do you want to do some boxing? You want to work with a boxing coach? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like I've never done any of that stuff before, sure. And so, um, I just, as the case kind of went that direction and my options were looking really bleak, I was kind of like, well, maybe like I didn't think I was a fighter. Like I
Right.
thought all along I could probably do that. Like I feel like I'm capable of doing this, but to actually do it is a whole different thing. Like you kind of have to have you got to have an edge. You got to have like a chip on your shoulder in some way and just like want to get in fights. I never really got in fights as a kid, and like I
Ah,
said, my like I didn't really know what it was like. I mean, yeah, I competed in a combat sport at a very high level, but that's different than somebody that wants to kill you.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, and I mean, eventually I decided to fight, and I took an opportunity with Strikeforce, and they were doing
Mm.
like a promotional thing with EA Sports where it was like uh an older fighter takes a younger fighter under their wing, they go on a training trip, it all gets documented, and then they debut in Strikeforce. And I was like, all right, like I don't know if this is gonna be for me, but yeah, like let's do it.
Let's try it.
So yeah, and this all happened before I went to jail. So
Oh,
I ended up getting permission to go to. I cornered one of my buddies in a fight in Japan.
wow.
I went on this training trip to Brazil for 10 days,
Oh, cool.
and I was just like I said, I'm living it up before shit hits the fan for me. Like, who knows what's gonna happen? I better have a good time beforehand. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but like secretly in the back of my head, I was just thinking, you know what? If I can pull something off like this, if maybe if I'm in the public eye again, and like maybe people will realize that I'm not a bad person. I'm not the bad person that they all think I am,
Yeah.
and I would somehow like restore my character. And because I felt awful. I felt like, man, I just irreparably damaged my reputation. And like that was really why I was doing it, and um I ended up debuting in Strikeforce, had my first fight, ended up winning, and then it was, and kind of made this decision, like, yeah, like, all right, I'm gonna fight. And then a few months later, I get sentenced to a year in county jail.
Oh,
And
man.
and it's just, I mean, it was tough. It was like like, man, I'm just like I'm such a guy that I love the outdoors. I love like
Hmm.
living life, and man, you put me in a box and it is tough.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard. I mean, luckily I could go work. I did construction and roofed houses, and like did whatever. Picked up as much overtime as I possibly was able to
Right.
get.
TV
And
till dark. Like, how late can I stay?
yeah, yeah. Hey, can you call the prison, see if it's all right if I stay a little
Yeah.
later? And they're like, sure, man, working minimum wage. Like, sure, work as
Go
much
for it.
overtime as you want, man. So,
Man.
Prior to like you getting sentenced and everything when you were doing your training and traveling, I'm assuming that everybody you were training with knew what was going on in your life. Like as far
yeah,
as like
and they accepted me. They
Nice.
were like, it was just like the community that accepted me, and they were, and like, I don't know, I came to find out that, man, these are great guys.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and I mean, it's funny how, I mean, I'm sure you guys experience it just in training, and you guys beat the shit out of each other, and you gain respect for each other, and it's like a friendship on a different level.
yeah.
And it's hard to explain to people that have never felt that.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was just, I was getting accepted by this group, and it felt like a safe place to be,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
I didn't have to ever answer a question about it. And it was nice, and I really felt like, okay, I can somehow pull myself out of this huge hole I dug by
Hmm.
just doing well in this sport.
Hmm.
And it's it's kind of weird. I mean, I had my first fight when I was 30 years old. That
Oh
is
shit.
late, man. I'm an old bastard. You know, I had my very first fight. I didn't take an amateur fight. I just was like, I'm taking pro fights, and I'm gonna fight the best guys I can possibly fight
Fuck
because
yes.
I gotta make up for lost time.
Yeah.
Like I have a very short window to do this. Let's go. You know. And then
Damn.
I get put on hold for a whole year, and then come out, and there was I had another Strike Force. The UFC bought Strike Force, shut them down, so I no longer am under that contract, and there's not a lot of other options out there, but there's some other new promotions happening. They signed me. I fight once, and I'm under this contract with them for I think 2 or 3 fights, and only ended up getting 1 fight.
Ah.
And so over the course of 4 years, I had 4 fights, and it was, I mean, the last 2 was basically like, hey, I'll forfeit my purse to you if you just agree to fight. Because
Wow.
everyone would Google your name, and NCAA wrestling would come up, and they're like, I'm not trying to get a wrestling match with this guy. No
Yeah.
chance, because the name of the game back then was, hey, if you go 10-0, the UFC will take a look at you, and that's where everybody wanted to go. And it was like I thought about, maybe I should change my name, maybe like I had this alias kind of built up that I was like, that way if someone ever like, it was close enough to my real name that if somebody was like, hey, wait a minute, that's not who you say. Oh, it must have been a typo, or whatever. And so like some of my really good buddies, actually Scotty is one of them. He'll call me Matt Cummins. I was like, I'm thinking about changing my name to Matt Cummins.
That's hilarious.
What the hell? Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's such a thing, though. I mean, I know I'm fucking pull guard if I'm going against a wrestler. I'm like,
yeah, right.
I'm like, I'm not gonna play any stand-up game with you. So I can imagine that would be definitely difficult to get
little
fights with
for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
for sure.
Take us to when you got the call to the UFC, because that was kind of
yeah.
Or did we just jump a whole time frame? I don't have dates in front of me.
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, because I mean, I was just eking out these little fights here and there. It was crappy competitions, and it was, people don't realize that like there's no feeder league for the UFC. It's like it's the big show, and then it's just like you're fighting in a bar, or you're fighting, on an Indian reservation, or, whatever. It's like
we have that.
It's crazy. It's a crazy thing. And the whole time I'm training, I'm living in Southern California. I'm training at Rain Training Center, which is Mark Munoz's gym. He's he ended up shutting it down, but he was like UFC veteran, and he wrestled in college. And it just became known as like kind of the wrestler upper weight gym. And so I was
perfect.
Like, I'm beating ass all the time. I've had like 2 fights, and everybody's like, dude, when are you gonna get the call? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't get a fight,
Just waiting.
And like my manager's pleading with like the UFC and the matchmakers, and like, dude, please give this kid a fight. Like, he can't find anything. Man. And it's just like, we're gonna lose him. And I was legitimately at the end of my rope. I was, when I made the decision to move to California and like do all this, I cashed in my retirement from like coaching. I sold everything I owned. And I had 2 suitcases and a bicycle. And
oh my gosh!
And like, I'm living in my manager's place. He has 2 kids and a wife, and I'm like in the way. And like but I'm like, I can't survive otherwise.
Yeah.
And my savings are gone, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can actually really do this. Like I'm running out of resources.
Yeah.
And so I end up, at right near the end of my rope, I decide I got to start working, because I was just, I was solely trained on, focused on training. And
Right.
I had a huge gap to make up. I've never done any striking. I've never done any jujitsu.
Oh no.
But I can wrestle. Like I've never done any of this stuff. And so I'm in the lab constantly, like working and trying to get better. But
For sure.
meanwhile, just like the way I was, and like how luckily, wrestling carried me so far. I'm beating up everybody in the room, just because I just like I'd take them down, and then I just punch them. I'm like, I don't know many submissions. I don't, like I just.
That's
like,
all you need, right?
yeah, like I was just as green as it gets, but I was like a dog on a bone,
Nice.
And so yeah, I just like I started working in a coffee shop. I started like bouncing in this club on the weekends, just for like no money,
Right. They'll trade you drinks
but
if you stand at the door.
yeah, but it was like I had to do something. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I can't just watch my bank account go negative and not have, not be able to do anything. So I'm like, I remember specifically looking in, like I'm in the drive-through window. I'm serving people coffee, like old ladies in Dana Point. And I'm like, I like catch my reflection. I'm in this stupid apron, and I'm like, catch my reflection in like somebody's car window, and I'm just like, I can't believe this is my life.
Man, this ain't
Like
me.
it was so sad. I'm like,
Damn.
I have a college degree. Like I have all these. I'm like, there's got to be something else I can do. I think it's time that I kind of get real and figure out what else I'm gonna do. What this what a felon can do with his life,
Right.
And like I had that looming over me too. I'm like, oh man, I don't know. So
At this point in your life, did you have your mustache?
yeah, this was like kind of the beginning of the mustache. Like
Okay, because I was gonna say, so you looked at your
the
reflection.
mustache started. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, continue.
I love it.
Yeah. That was like the origin of the mustache.
Yeah.
When you're like, I need to be a new man.
I needed the visual of
Yeah.
like you as a barista with the mustache. So then you got the call at the coffee shop, right?
Yeah, and I just
That's
I'm
crazy.
like, yeah, and like I had this. I was like, man, I think I was really thinking about hanging it up, a couple weeks before that, but I just was like putting one foot in front of the other.
Damn.
I'm going to the coffee shop at 3 in the morning, like 3:30. I clock in, and I'm like baking and cooking and like making coffee until like 9:30, so I can get to training at 10.
Oh my God.
And then like so it's like the only job I can possibly.
Right. It's the only one that works that schedule.
Yeah. So I like I'm just like, man, I'm like burning the candle at both ends. I'm trying to train twice a day. And I'm trying to go to sleep by like 7, 8 p.m. and wait, you know what I mean? Like it was not sustainable at all.
Right.
And I remember my manager, and he's like, "Oh man, Rashad Evans just pulled out of this fight with Daniel Cormier coming up in about a week." And I was like, "Oh really?" I'm like, "What happened to a buddy of ours?" Like I went and trained with Rashad a lot. He was like, we wrestled together forever. And I was like, "Oh man, what happened to Rashad?" And he's like, "I think he tore his ACL." It just kind of sucked. And he's like, "Yeah, take that fight." And I was like, "I would take that fight." And he goes, "Oh," he's like, "Yeah?" And I'm like, yeah, I would take that in a second. And he goes, why don't you tweet about that? And I was like, what, to my 400 followers? Like, why? Like, what good is that
Who's
gonna do? And
reading
he
this?
like, yeah, I'm like, dude, shut up, you know? And he's like, but he wouldn't stop. He would just kept being like, no, I think you should just tweet it. Why not? What's it gonna hurt? What's gonna hurt? So he's hatching this plan, you know, like that. He's got friends in all the right media places, and he's gonna say he knows the backstory between Daniel and I, and he's like, he's like, if people start to hear this and there's like whispers of it, I can sell this story, you know.
Oh shit.
So that's, you know, I have no idea what's going on. I'm focused on waking up at 3 a.m. and not like
He's
not
making
falling off my
biscuits.
bicycle on the way to the coffee shop. So you know, I go to bed, and you know, the next morning I'm up working at the shop, and I feel like my phone is vibrating quite a bit in my pocket, but I'm just like slammed at the shop, and like
Right.
I don't have a moment to, you know, my boss is standing right there all the time. I'm not gonna look at my phone. I'm just like, can't get fired from this job. So
We're looking at your phone too.
yeah. So out of nowhere, my manager's in his pajamas because it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30. You know, he comes busting in and just is like ranting in his pajamas, comes busting through the front door,
Oh my
and it's
God.
just like screaming at me, and I'm like, what is happening? You know, and my boss is like kicks him out, like, dude, you can't do that in here. Like, you gotta go, you know. And I'm like, that's my friend, you know. I'm like, I don't know, something must be up. And she was like, okay, like, just handle it. You know, you're gonna be out of here soon. Just handle it. You know, can it wait a half hour? I'm like, okay, sure. So I'm working at the window. He comes walking around to the drive-through window behind cars. There's like a whole line of cars.
Oh my God.
He's in the car line.
Yeah, he's ranting and
Yes.
screaming.
Yes.
You know, and he's like, do you want to take this fight or not? You know, like blah blah blah. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, like I had completely forgot about all that stuff. And I'm like, cool, like you found me a fight? That's awesome. You know, like yeah, great. Like, when is it? Because I hope I can live for as long, you know, like long enough to freaking go actually compete, and whenever this fight's gonna be. And so my boss is like, hey, why don't you just clock out? Like, just you're done, you know? And I was like, okay. And I'm like, not sure. Like, I'm gonna have to patch things up with her because it kind of feels like I got fired, maybe.
Oh,
You know?
no.
I don't know.
There's question marks around that.
Yeah, and my manager's so funny because he was just like, he was so worked up. He couldn't really speak. He couldn't like explain what was happening, and so he just like, I come out the back door, and he just hands me the phone, and I'm like, you know, he's like, you got to take this call, and I'm like, okay, and it's Dana White.
Oh,
And-
no shit.
Yeah, and he's like, so what's all this I hear about you and this backstory about Daniel, and you know, like, is all this stuff true? And I'm like, yeah. You know, he's like, you make him cry. I'm like, yep. And he's like, okay. He's like, more importantly, he's like, I don't care if it's true. You know, he's like, are you willing to like go at this hard and sell this story? Because, you know, if you do it, well, I'll sign you. And I was like, I'll do whatever.
Oh,
I'll do whatever I need
wow.
to. You know, I'm like, I'll do whatever I need to. And it was like, I just remember like feeling like shivers all down my whole body, and just being like, holy shit, like I can't believe this is real life, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it just, man, like what a whirlwind it was. Like
How many days
you know,
out was it? You said you didn't know yet.
at that point that was a Friday, so the fight was on the next Saturday, so it was 8 days away.
Oh my God. And
And
usually
that
when you
night-
have these kinds of fights, how long are people usually like really going at it,
Like in
training in camp?
Oh, yeah, you have 2 months.
Okay,
At
yeah.
least.
So you
Yeah.
just,
Just a week.
just a week, it's fine.
Just casually, like, sure,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready.
And he's your friend, right? So how hard could this be, right?
Yeah. So that morning, that morning I'm up at 3. I'm like doing all this stuff. I get this crazy call. There's like all kinds of emotions
Wow.
going through my body. By I want to say like 5 or 6 p.m. that evening, I'm in Fox Studios up in LA. Like they brought a car down for me,
Oh,
Oh my
shit.
god.
brought us up there. I'm on live television talking shit to Daniel. Like, and like in the back of the car, my manager and I are like rehearsing like what kind of shit we're gonna talk. And like, hey, these are the things you need to start doing. They're like, you need to go here. You need to go here. And I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Oh
Like,
my God. Did
I
you
don't know how to
realize
do
what a
this.
production it would have to be to like bring it to this point?
I had no idea. No idea. And I remember like Daniel saying like, yeah, he's never experienced this before. He's gonna be like, I'm not concerned at all because it's like it's a lot to handle. And
Yeah.
like I was like, whatever, bro. But yeah, sure enough, it was a lot. It was a lot to handle.
So that was
So,
in 2000,
it was like 2000, maybe 14.
2014.
So
Yeah, yeah.
in that fight, I think it was Joe Rogan. I was actually just watched this fight again the other day. But Chael Sonnen is calling you a bad man. Did you know Chael from wrestling? Or do you know
Yeah,
Chael? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
We train with I train with Chill. My manager, he actually still works with Chill now.
Okay,
So
okay.
like they were really close friends then, and yeah, he would anytime he had a fight, he would always want me to help him train.
Oh, that's cool. Because
Yeah.
he's from Oregon. We're in Oregon, so he's from here. So it's kind of like so
Oh,
far
okay.
away to like hook up with somebody like that without it being connected. So
Yeah, yeah.
super cool. So tell us about the fight.
I mean the fight was actually like I remember not being nervous like
Really?
before the fight and just thinking like something's wrong. Like
Mm-hmm.
what's going on? But at the same time I have this feeling of like this is my destiny. It's time to like go fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And I was like the one I think I don't know if you guys feel this, but when it comes to competing, I can always tell when I'm like locked in. If my focus is like laser sharp and I don't like I don't even notice the crowd around me. I'm just like focused on what I need to do and focused on that person. I'm gonna have a great showing. I've
Right.
just over the years I've figured that out that like, oh, I gotta be laser focused. And I was feeling that, but I mean I didn't know it at the time that was something I would be chasing for the next however many years. But
Right.
um I was super focused and I was like not nervous. And I like the first, I mean, you just watched the fight. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I mean, the first like minute or two, I don't remember how long it went, but I felt like I didn't second guess anything. I'm like throwing
Mm-hmm.
kicks, which I normally like wouldn't do, and
Yeah.
I'm like in it. I'm very in it, and I don't feel threatened, and I feel like I'm just like the
Comfortable.
focus is there. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was great.
Yeah.
And then there's a moment where I remember it very like specifically. We like exchange right hands and both kind of like move out of the way and like how you kind of like our arms hit each other
Yes.
and and like it kind of like jolted me into like realizing what the like all of a sudden like the scene became like I'm like, oh, I
It's
see where
real.
I am now. And I was
Mhm.
like, this is kind of crazy,
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I'm not doing that bad. Like, see, I told you I could do, I could do
Mhm.
this. And like very, very shortly after that, the punch that you don't see hits me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming and I was just like, fuck.
The focus
But it was
shifted.
like, like it just broke my focus enough that I was just
Wow.
like,
Yeah.
I was out of the game, you
Mhm.
know, and it was,
One split
I
second.
don't know, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a
Yeah.
crazy experience, and I couldn't believe that it was over like that. And I was like, fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Here again, I'm on this big stage, and I'm like,
After all the
coming
shit
up short.
talking.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I talked
Yeah.
a lot of shit. And like, but I mean, I think the people, like the people that really know fighting and are really, you know, like, understand the sport, they're like, yeah, dude, like, you had to sell yourself to get this job.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, like, I'll still get hate messages on my Instagram, like, oh, remember when you said you made Daniel cry? Like, I'm just like, man, you just have no idea of what, like,
And I
you
think
don't
that's the
understand. You
biggest
don't
thing.
understand the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't understand. They don't understand that there's characters and there's production, and
Yeah.
it's as much of a show as it is an actual fight.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a crazy kind of introduction to your
Right.
UFC debut.
Oh, welcome.
So it was,
Right.
yeah, so it was 2014, and then you ended up retiring in 2019. So what would you say are some like highlights of your career in the UFC?
I think being in the top 10 was really cool.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, I think I was in the top 10 for a couple years, but it, you know, it was also frustrating. Like, now looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of that. You know, I'm like, yeah, I think the highest I was ranked was like 8th in the world. Like, that's great. But at the time, I was like, fuck that. I want to be 1. You know?
It's not good enough.
Like, I'm just like totally not satisfied. And it just felt like every time I was like getting in a groove, I'd hit a setback.
Mhm.
And, you know, just like, and I also really went about things the wrong way. You know, like I said, I was trying to make up for lost time so much that I was taking the dumb fights, you know, like fights I wasn't probably ready for, like, experience wise.
Yeah.
I was taking those fights because I just, you know, I was like, I gotta fast forward this. My window is closing, you know,
Right.
and
And how old
I
are you at this point? You're 30. You
at what
started
point?
currently in the middle of your UFC when you're trying, like, at this era.
Oh yeah, I retired when I was 39.
Okay.
My first fight, I think I was like at the end of like 33.
Okay. Okay.
So,
So
you
you're
know, I'm like,
older in that too.
yeah. So I'm like, I gotta hustle things up here.
Yeah.
And you know, looking back, it would have been such a better play to just take take the wins, take the easy fights, play, you know, kind of like play the game, actually make money. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, like, because it would be like every time my contract would be up for renewal, it would be like I'd book myself a tough fight and lose. And they'd just be like, well, you know, you're only as good as your last fight, and
Yeah.
we're willing to give you another $3,000. You know, and I'm like, bro,
Oh my
come on.
God.
Like, I fought Glover Teixeira in Brazil, who, like,
Amazing.
this was a couple years after he challenged John Jones. He was like, you know, a real contender.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a few years after that, he became the champ. And I'm fighting him on a co-main event in Brazil where I gotta like pay for all my people to come down there.
Wow.
And they said, yeah, we'll give you this fight for 20 and 20. So, like, you show up, they'll pay you 20 grand, and then if you win, you get another 20. And I'm like, this is the fucking co-main event of this. Like, really? I'm like, this can't be right.
It doesn't make sense.
It was like, by the time like my training camp was done, I flew everybody out there, put them up in hotels. I didn't make a dime, you know.
No.
But I was like, yeah, and it was just like, it was the heyday of like shitting on fighters and like us not getting paid, you know. I think at that time we were, you know, it was like very shortly after that they were talking about, you know, making a union, and we were only getting 6% of the profits from
Holy
fights, and the
shit.
other Yeah, other, like if you're a football player or baseball player, you're getting 50% of the profits. And
Right.
I started to build a disdain towards the UFC and like
Yeah.
clear, and I'm just like thinking, man, I really should be making almost 10 times as much money as I am right now. Like this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And like, I'm having trouble paying rent and just like living and being able to train and compete. And the higher you get in the rankings, the less fights you kind of have a year. And it should be reflected on like you should be getting paid more. But
Exactly.
I don't know. It was
Not
It was
sustainable.
tough.
So
Yeah, it
did
was
all
not
of
sustainable.
so did this stuff kind of help contribute to like your decision to retire? Were you at a point where you were like, okay, I'm ready to be done, or was that a really tough decision for you?
It was a decision that I wasn't ready to make.
Mhm.
I mean, looking back, I can tell you exactly when I was like, oh, I'm done fighting.
Mhm.
And it was probably a year before I actually retired.
Mhm.
I met a guy who just became like an Instagram buddy of mine for a long time, and he it'd been years since I talked to him. He reached out to me and said, hey man, my nephew just got expelled from school. He's living with me and my wife right now. Can I take you out to lunch and will you talk to him?
Oh
Because
wow.
he really respects fighters, and but he's just being a knucklehead and getting in trouble, and like I don't think he understands what he's doing to his life. And I'm like, I'd love to do that. Like I have a story, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize this guy, he called me and asked me to do this just because I was a fighter and this kid liked fights. He didn't know my story. So
Wow.
we sat down to lunch and I was like, this is what happened to me, and I could see my buddy's face. Like he kind of went white. He was like, holy shit, I didn't know
He
that,
wasn't ready.
like yeah, he's like, you're a nice guy. I didn't think you're a jailbird.
He's like, bro, this isn't what I was talking about. I'm like,
Yeah,
Tell him this part.
come on.
yeah. But I mean, you talk straight to a kid like that,
Yeah.
and I
Makes
mean,
an
he straightened up.
impact.
He straightened up real quick, and
Good.
it was that moment when, like I didn't know it at the time, but the whole point of me fighting, like, yeah, I wanted to be the best I could be. I wanted to put a belt around my waist, but the real reason I was doing it is because I wanted to like change people's ideas of who I was, and not, I didn't want to be judged by the dumb shit that I did and how badly I ruined my reputation.
Right.
And I just, looking back, I'm like, that was the moment I was done. And I had, I also built so much disdain for the UFC and how we were getting treated, and you see behind the curtain and you can't unsee it.
Absolutely.
And I was kind of like, all I knew was competing. That's all I could, and like my heart was completely out of it. But I just kept taking fights and kept, and it was almost like I look back at my last 3 fights, and I mean, 2 of them for sure. It's like I subconsciously tried to lose. Like
Okay.
I can't explain it. It's like,
Maybe they'll
I
just
don't
let you
know.
go.
Yeah, and like, yeah, I mean, never did that thought cross my mind, but
No,
and
of course not.
but yeah, like that's what was going on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. Your mind's a crazy thing,
Mm-hmm. It's
and
amazing.
yeah, so it was weird, and it was tough to say like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I didn't really like it identifying as a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like me, and when I actually was done, and some time had passed, it was such a relief to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't explain it. I was just like, man, 'cause it's not really my personality to want to get. I don't want to. I haven't been in a fight since.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
why would I? And I didn't. I've been in maybe one fight in my life before that,
Mm-hmm.
so it just wasn't me, and
Yeah.
it felt phony a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, man, when your back's against the wall, you do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm a pretty good example of that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
after you retired, did you know like right away that you wanted to open your own gym? Or how long did that?
Fuck no. Absolutely not.
Let's talk jujitsu.
Yeah, right. I no, I wanted like to be as far away from the fight world as I possibly could. And I was like, I put my art life kind of on hold for so long,
Yeah.
that I wanted to tap back into that. And I did. I mean, I started a couple little businesses. I like started a little art website. Then I just kind of like, I don't know, I couldn't understand why I lost steam doing it, or I wasn't enjoying it that much. Then I started cooking. I started doing a lot of pop-ups, and like, that part of my life
Yeah.
happened, and it just felt like I finally realized, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to make my hobbies into a job, and it's
Yeah.
sucking the life out of them. I
Yeah.
just didn't like it. And I mean, I've always wanted to be a teacher. I mean, that dream got shattered the day I got arrested,
Right.
like there's no,
Right.
you're not working with kids anymore, so it was like, it was hard. And I don't know, I had to like say goodbye to that, and I didn't think that that would be a possibility. And then, a friend of mine was like, maybe you should try like do some personal training. Like you love working out. You're like always designing a program for yourself, and like you should do that for other people. It'd be great. People would love to be trained by you. And so, I was doing that a little bit, and then I started like warming up to the idea of like, people would contact me and say, hey, you know, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I'd really like to learn some wrestling, or, I'd like to learn
Nice.
some jiu-jitsu from you. So, I didn't have any mats anywhere. So I reached out to a gym that was kind of nearby me that I had a buddy that trained there and trained people there. And they're like, yeah, we'd love to have you. Like,
Oh,
you'd be
sweet.
great. Yeah, like come on in. And, we just kind of like struck a deal. Like, you can come train anybody you want here, just like maybe teach a class, or, just kind of be around. And so I started teaching a wrestling for jiu-jitsu / no gi class at their little studio. And I don't know, I just kept seeing like how how like poorly run the program was, and I just like took it upon myself to like make it better. And I was like building, a little community, and like, getting guys excited about jiu-jitsu and
Oh,
about
that's
grappling.
rad.
And I just kind of thought, well, why am I doing this for free? Maybe I
Exactly.
should, yeah, like maybe I should try to figure out a way to do this for my own. And yeah, ended up taking the big plunge and opening up a space here in LA. We've been open 9 months now.
That's
And
amazing.
Oh, it's
it
just a
feels,
baby gym.
yeah, it feels so
Congratulations.
great. Yeah, it
That
feels
is
really great. Like
great.
I love what I do, and I
Mhm.
love coming in every day. Like I'm never like, I don't want to do this. It's just, it just feels so good. And it's funny
Yeah.
because, it's something that I kind of like shied away from. I didn't really want anything to do with. But I think understandably, I think because I kind of got forced into this,
Right.
and I wanted to let it go. And then, I don't know, I had to come back to it myself.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. We have, like our guys are, we're a new gym, so our guys are all pretty new to jiu-jitsu, and
Yeah.
we just started getting them into some competitions, some white belt competitions. And watching these guys get their first wins, it's so rewarding and so cool.
Yay.
And it's so different from anything I've experienced. I coached in college as I was training for the Olympics. I was coaching in college,
Mhm.
colleges all over, and I'm taking these guys that are already really good and just turn them into monsters, like
Yeah.
just like giving
Elevating.
them that little, but this is different. I'm like taking blank slates and turning them in, turning these guys into men.
It's like pottery.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'm molding these lumps of clay.
Making their bodies do cool things.
Fucking throw them on the wheel, man.
Yeah. But you know
So
what? I have so much trouble getting women to get involved, and I really I
Same.
feel like I should ask you guys about that. I need help. I
Mhm.
because I was like,
Yeah.
I want to have a women's only class. I want to find a women's instructor to just like come, like I don't want to be there. I want
Yeah.
just to be the girl, just let the girls do their thing, and then like
Mhm.
slowly get them like integrated into our classes and feel
Yeah.
good about it.
we will come down and just recruit women into the cult
Yeah.
for you. We'll come
Yeah.
spend a week.
We'll come teach. No, but as far as like getting women in the gym, we have that same issue, right? Like that's been the biggest
Yeah.
challenge overall. And I think for Mallory and myself, like you're kind of in an area where you have so many people in general, right? People have their hobbies. A lot of stuff is outdoors. A lot of women have to look a certain type of way, or they've had cosmetic enhancements that are difficult to do jujitsu with. But I'm telling you from my own personal experience that these ladies with the enhancements, you can still do jujitsu.
Mhm.
So you need to find like maybe like a cardio kickboxing class and be like, have you guys ever wanted to wrestle?
Yeah.
This isn't weird. Just try it. But it's hard. I don't know. I don't have the answer.
It's
We have
so
to figure
hard.
it out.
Because
I
there is
know. I
such
think it's just a matter. It's a matter
It's
of
time.
time,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's. I mean, it's the same. It's the same, honestly, with getting guys in the gym too. It's not. I thought, man, people will be in this gym and really quick, and it has been. I've been very fortunate. Like
Mhm.
I've been in the positive like almost the entire time I've been open. It's
Perfect.
been great.
That's
But
great.
it's like not a lot of people come in off the street and they're like, I want to try jujitsu.
Mhm.
I've only
Like
met
it's
one.
not for everybody, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think too, I lived in an area in Central Coast, California for a little bit, and they had a new gym that opened up, and they did like a community event and served food.
Oh.
And all they did was just serve food on the sidewalk and talk to people that they were eating with. And then, and they had like a couple women there that were training, but it was just very organic and like just kind of like check out our space.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
they told me I should roll with them, and I said absolutely not, never. And here we sit. 4 days after I started jujitsu, I went back to that gym and trained.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
That's cool.
It is
Yeah.
hard.
I think it's just time and keeping your face out there. And when one shows up, she'll bring a friend.
Yeah. If you build it, they will come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the words of our mutual friend Scotty
Yes.
Miller, he always says kickboxing and Muay Thai is the gateway drug to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he's like, just get him in the door. Everybody wants to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They want to take out some aggression in that way, and then just slowly like offer it to them, and
Yeah.
they'll try it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay.
And I
it's
think you're
worked.
right.
It's a gateway drug.
He's smart.
He's not just handsome, he's smart too.
Yeah, he's a babe.
Scotty needs to bring the mullet back though.
I know, I love the mullet. It's like he's trying to be too refined for the mullet. It's
It
like,
just
bro,
doesn't
come on.
work. Yeah.
We
Go back to
know you.
Scrappy's. Yeah.
So
Show your true colors.
So I'm not even sure if we said your gym's name, but it's All In Academy, right?
It's All In Academy.
And you coach all ages?
Yep, all ages. I was insanely fortunate to pick up a kids coach, a really like the best kids coach I've ever like been around. He is he just like approached me and was like, hey, I want to teach at your gym. I'm like, what? And like, we didn't even open, I didn't even open the doors yet. And
That's
I'm like,
rad.
really? I'm like, okay, and like sure enough, he coached at a place down the road, and just wasn't feeling like he was getting treated properly, and um, man, their loss, my gain.
Damn.
He's Coach Sasha. Everybody loves Coach Sasha, and he has built the kids program up so nicely, and we have a 3 to 4 year old class, we have a 4 to 5 year old class, and then we have our 6 to 13s, and it's like that's the biggest part of our gym is the kids,
Yes. Yeah. Same with
and
ours.
it's great, and that's so rewarding to see like what it does for them.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. We talk about
it's
all
so
the
cool.
time how much these sports can give to kids and how much it can help them grow. So it's so like
Yeah.
rewarding to be a part of that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wish this was something I had, at my disposal as a
Oh,
kid, for sure.
same.
Same.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
outside of teaching technique, alongside, not having this as a kid and, having this opportunity for your students now, what else are you guys focusing on? Are you guys talking about mindset and discipline and self-care and things like that to keep going through, or are the kids classes, even adults too, just specifically technique?
No, it's life, and
Mhm.
I mean, as you know, just like explaining a little bit about myself, like the mental side of competition and about, the competitive life is so important to me. And it's something that I can really pass on to people. I
Mhm.
worked so much with um our sports psychologist at Penn State.
Oh,
And
I love that.
at the time, I mean, I'm a dinosaur. So like back then,
Yeah.
it was not a popular thing. I think there was like only a handful of schools that had a sports psychologist, and I mean he was amazing because I didn't seek him out,
Right.
like I would have never thought that that's something that I would need, or I didn't even understand what it was, and he was like, hey, why don't you come to the office, and like just, man, that I mean, been in contact with him like well after school, and like I'm getting ready for a big fight. Hey, his name was Dr. Eukelson, and I'd say give me some of those Euclidean nuggets, my man. I got a big fight coming up. Come
There you
on.
go.
And he was always there. He was always there for me.
That's super
Yeah.
cool.
That
So
is
now you get
So
to
yeah.
pass that on to your students.
Oh yeah.
so
And like
good.
as far as the kids program goes, I mean, Sasha, our kids coach, is so good. He's like,
Mhm.
I mean, he always gives like the life lesson speech
Yeah.
almost every day in class, and
That's
it's just
so
like
cool.
it's just so good. And
Mhm.
it just, I don't know. I love it. I
I
love
love
it.
that. That's so great.
Those life
Yeah.
lessons though in the kids class, I think stick with the kids. My youngest son was 10 when he started jujitsu, and we were living in Hawaii, and they would give the speech at the end of every single class about domestic violence, how important it is that you don't put your hands on your partners, your loved ones, or anybody else. Jujitsu is not to be used in frustration. And they did such a good job. And he doesn't train
Yeah.
anymore, but he still like carries those things with him.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just across the board. I mean, this past weekend, one of my guys he was he signed up for gi and no gi, and lost both of his gi matches, and then just kind of was like,
Mm.
I could tell what was happening in his brain. It was like pretend, not pretend, but just be like, just something is bugging him, and it just got amplified, and he was like, man, I think I'm injured. I don't
Um,
think I want to keep competing, and you know what I mean, and like,
the excuses.
yeah, like, yeah, exactly, and it was, I mean, what an awesome lesson to learn, and you know what I
Mhm.
mean, like, as a person that hasn't competed their whole life, or whatever, it's like they don't understand that, like, these are life lessons, and like,
Yeah.
you know I was like, listen, man, you know I like you're here. You should compete. It's going to be great for you, and come on, like let's make this happen. And he was resistant. And then the next day he texted me and said, hey man, I'm really sorry. Like what I did was not cool. I kind of bitched out,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, man, like I knew what was going on, but I'm not going to make you do something that you're against, but for the sole reason that you're going to learn from this. And like, I'm like, you have a wife and a daughter, and you would never ever give up on them. You wouldn't, I know you would not do that. Like this is such a prime example of like, when the going gets tough, you got to step up.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? It's like, what a life lesson to learn. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's not just jujitsu.
What a
Absolutely.
good example of that you are.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
you know what? Like, I'm pretty shy about, explaining some of that stuff, especially to my own guys. Like, I'm not trying to ever toot my horn or
Right.
whatever, but
We'll just tell them to listen to this pod.
they could, they
Yeah.
they could benefit. They'd be like, holy shit, like this guy's crazy. They'll look at me like, no, he's actually not. He doesn't seem crazy.
It's not so bad.
Maybe that's just toughness.
Yeah.
So what does your day-to-day look like right now, and what is your vision for the future?
I mean, year one, I'm in the thick of it. So
Yeah.
I'm teaching a lot of classes, and I'm lucky to have some good coaches helping me out that believe in the where the gym's going to go,
That's great.
and that we're all going to grow together. And but no, it's 6 days a week for me, and I'm teaching every single day. But with in mind that like I'm building this thing, eventually I'll be able to kind of not have to be there in that capacity all the time, and be able to promote my guys and like have the gym take care of itself. And I'd love to open up a couple of these. I think it's a good, we have a good message, we have a good curriculum, and we have a good brand. So I think that's being here in LA, like that means a lot.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've got a really good thing going. And I cannot believe that we have been talking for so long. We so appreciate how much time you're giving us. Like, this has been incredible.
Hope you didn't have plans.
Yeah, hope you didn't have plans for the afternoon.
No, well, okay, I have to give you guys this a little bit. Just because we were talking about this earlier. I'm sure you guys are aware of the antitrust lawsuit that the UFC has been going through.
I've seen some stuff. Yeah.
You've seen this stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm a part of that. I wasn't a person that brought this to court.
Sure.
I'm included in the suit. And it's kind of like I've been expecting to get like a check, for the past month maybe. And as we're talking, this number comes up. I'm like, what is that number? And then like the voicemail, like the text voicemail came through.
Yeah.
And it was like, we're just calling to verify your bank information.
Oh my God!
Yeah. I got an important phone call to make now. But
Holy shit!
Okay, let's do rapid fire and then
Yeah.
get your money.
We will
I was
not
just
keep
talking
you
about
much
how
longer.
poorly I got paid.
Okay, we're just gonna ask you 3 questions and then say goodbye. Okay.
Well, actually, where can people find you? Plug your gym. Tell us where people can find you.
Yes. So on Instagram, I'm official Durkin. Not in your face Cummins.
But you could be.
Yeah. And then the gym is all in Academy LA on Instagram as well. And and that's our website. So
Awesome.
yeah, and if you're ever in the area, if you're ever in the Los Angeles area, please come visit us.
We
Absolutely.
totally will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
All right, so just a few rapid fire questions that we always
Ooh.
finish off with.
Okay.
First one, if you had a fight tomorrow, what would your walkout song be?
Ooh. I always had the same one.
Mm-hmm. Which is what?
Well, not always.
Ooh.
It was a Grimes song, Oblivion by Grimes, which is a real banger.
I'm
But
gonna have
it's
to listen to it.
it's like old, it's an old like indie pop song.
Mhm.
And but I think I would come out to the song that I used when I fought DC.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Little Richard song, and it's from the movie Predator. Yeah, I'm like blanking on the name, but
I know,
it's
we'll
like
have to look it
We'll
up.
look it up. We'll
gonna
find
have some
out for
fun
you.
tonight, something like
Deep
I'll
dive.
get
Shoot us a text when you figure it out.
But it's such a vibe. It's such a good like. Yeah.
That's right.
I'd probably just for nostalgic reasons.
Some good shit.
All right, would you rather have to shave your mustache or wax your entire body?
Oh, I'd shave my mustache in a heartbeat.
Good choice.
It'll grow back.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
So would the other
Come
hair
on.
too, though.
All right, I got a random question. If you could only eat one pasta shape for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Ooh. I'd say bow ties.
Oh, interesting choice.
Yeah, they're very stately.
They
Yeah.
really are. They really are.
Bow ties always go with a good mustache. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of my brand. Come on.
And last question we ask all of our guests is, if your best friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Fucking goofball.
There you go.
Fucking
sure.
goofball. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna let you go get your money.
Yeah, we appreciate you so much. This has been so awesome to talk
Thank
to you.
you.
And
Oh yeah.
we hope to make it to your
It's always fun to
area.
reminisce.
Yeah.
No, you
buddy.
guys gotta come.
Yeah,
We will, for
absolutely.
sure.
We will meet you eventually. Thank you so
Yes.
much. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All
My
right.
pleasure, you guys.
Cheers. You have a good one.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram at Chokeholds and Chill Pod, or shoot us a message at chokeholdsandchillpod@gmail.com.
I can say some buzzwords that you can piece together later.
It's
I don't know.
perfect.
It might be a nice soundbite.
There you go. Yeah.
We're gonna do you dirty.
Yeah.
We are gonna clip it together and have you introduce yourself as Patrick Cummins in your face.
No, we're
Yes,
not.
yes.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Let's see where this goes.
We'll
Oh my God.
talk about it later. It's fine.